Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining myself, Steve Walls, alongside Darren Smith, live from G.EH.A field inside of Arrowhead Stadium. The Philadelphia Eagles come into Arrowhead and defeat the Kansas City Chiefs 21-17. Darren, it leaves you scratching your head, doesn't it?
Man, I feel like taking that. I'm pissed off because the Chiefs lost. So I don't even know where to start, where to begin, Steve, because they had every opportunity throughout the game to blow the game wide open. And offensively, they just can't seem to get their act together.
Now, I can tell you where to start. And the Chiefs fans will tell you as well. It's with the offense. It's with 15. And also Andy Reid. Darren, we talked a lot about we're going to start. And Matt Nagy. We're going to start with I would say the main culprit. You know who that is? Marquez Valdez-Scantling.
Well.
No. We're not going to sugarcoat anything. We're going to start with him.
Well, it's easy to say him because of the last play of the game.
No, it started all game.
Earlier.
Started all game. We started all season, really. I mean, he's getting paid $11 million.
Now, that is fair.
And he didn't have a catch all throughout the first half.
Well, he didn't have a catch the entire game.
Well, yeah, but not even a target. He didn't have a target the whole first half.
But again, when I'm not sticking up for his performance tonight, but what I'm saying is, two has a dance in that tango, because if Patrick's not targeting him and not throwing the football, that there's nothing he can do, because as a wide receiver, you're dependent upon the quarterback throwing you the football. Like I asked Patrick in the presser, it seemed like the only two receivers that you were looking for was Justin Watson and Travis Kelce, because combined they had 20 targets between those two receivers.
But you know just as well as I do that if a quarterback trusts a wide receiver, no matter come hell or high water, he's going to go to him.
When it comes to Travis Kelce, I understand that. Now, Watson made some plays, but again, some of the fault falls on Mahomes. I mean, we look at the interception in the second quarter. They were already up, but I think they might have been tied 7-7, and he threw the interception, and then they came back and scored a touchdown. But again, he tried to hit Justin Watson in the end zone once again, but he locked it in there, didn't really put any effort to that throw, and so. A lazy pass, you get what happens, and that's the interception.
Now, I asked a few questions to Mahomes and also to Andy Reid about the running game.
Right.
I mean, Isaiah Pacheco, 19 attempts for 89 yards. Seemed to be clicking, in the first half, and they went away from it in the second half. What did you see from that?
Confusion.
Yeah.
Because, look, man, and people have, from red coders to former players. Now, we're doing this live. I'm talking about from the time the game ended to now, between red coders, former Chief players, some other current Chief players saying, hey, man, you need to talk about this. And that's the play calling. And the play calling, whether it's Andy Reid, whether it's Matt Nagy, it's questionable. I mean, I'm not going to divulge conversations that I had in the locker room, but let's just say the defense is not happy about how the offense performed tonight.
Yeah, and you talk about the defense, man. They balled out, lights out. I mean, they held this Eagles offense to 7 points, and in the first half, going into the third quarter. So, I mean, what are you saying from the defense? The reason why they're playing so well?
I mean, it starts from Coach Spags, but again, as I said before, those young players that came in and started as rookies last year, including Justin Reid, coming in as a free agent. They bought into Steve Spagnuolo's defense. Now, as rookies, they didn't have any other choice. I mean, so for them to get on the field, you had to learn this playbook. And because they performed at such a high level to help this team win a Super Bowl, one of the things that they talked about all week was Spags talking about how they gave up 30, 35 points in that game. Again, for a minute, it seemed like that they, if the offense ran away with it, the Eagles were only going to have 7 points in this ball game tonight. And again, the problem is that the defense is doing their job, but as I posted right before it ended up happening, you can't, as an offense, keep going 3 and out or going down the field and you're fumbling the football, you're throwing an interception, or you're not, you're not completing the drive because you have to punt the ball back. The defense can only do so much before it bends and then it breaks, and that's what ended up happening when they scored that touch. When Jalen scored the touchdown on the ground to bring it to 3, and then when the Chiefs continued to not be able to score, the defense can only do so much. And then we saw, of course, Jalen Hurts with the touchdown pass towards the end of the ballgame.
One of the top wide receivers in the NFL, A.J. Brown. 4 targets, 1 reception for 8 yards.
Yeah.
Devontae Smith, 8 targets, 6 reception for 99 yards. both regarded by L'Jarius Sneed and also Trent McDuffie. What did you see from them?
Dogs. I mean, and dogs in a good way, because I talked to L'Jarius last week, and I mentioned on the pregame show that he said that A.J. Brown better be ready because he's going to bring that work to him.
Yeah.
Which he did. I mean, there were times where A.J. Brown was so frustrated he's complaining to the officials, and they nothing happened. Now, you can't really shut both players down there, because that's just so Devontae Smith ended up being the one that benefited from those from the coverage that was given to AJ Brown. And of course, but what was interesting, it wasn't literally until like late in the third quarter, because Jalen Hurts had only had like four receptions at the half, and maybe like 7 going into the fourth quarter. So, like I said, the defense, they did their job. And if the offense ever caught up with the defense, this team, the sky's the limit.
Now, we talked about the quarterbacks, Jalen Hurts, Patrick Mahomes.
Well, we talked about it. We haven't really gotten in on Patrick just yet.
Yeah, so Mahomes, 177 yards, 2 touchdowns. Jalen Hurts, 150 yards, no touchdowns. No passing touchdowns.
Didn't he throw?
No passing touchdowns.
No, I'm sorry. Yeah, I guess he got it down to the 1.
Yeah.
Well.
And I told you, I felt like no matter what the outcome of the game was, I still felt like Mahomes outplayed Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, but see, I have to respectfully disagree, because when it mattered most, Jalen made the plays. And for me, when you're going tit for tat again, you had literally from the second quarter on to expound on that lead, that you had, and you didn't. And so Jalen did. Look, Jalen and the offense and the coaching staff for the Eagles, they did what they had to do to keep to keep themselves in the ball game. Look, they can't do anything if Mahomes can't score I mean, now look, if the receivers can't catch the football, that's not the Eagles' fault. I mean, that's just like AJ Brown. Got their work put on him. He couldn't do anything. So AJ Brown wasn't hurting you. Only 2 players really were hurting you on the Chiefs offensively in the air. That was Watson along with Kelsey. I mean, other receivers I think they ended up having 7 or 8 drops overall tonight. I mean, and now look, from where we sat up in the press box, blame goes all the way around. Obviously, the touchdown pass at the very end, that's MVS's fault. But Mahomes, again, he was underthrown. He was overthrown. I mean, there were times we were looking like, bro, where you throwing the ball to? I mean, and there were times where Mahomes was throwing the ball in the dirt.
Yeah, I mean.
So, I mean,
But and a lot of that was him being rushed, too. The offensive line didn't play exceptionally well today.
Agreed. But there were again times where we're sitting next to each other in the press, but we're looking like run the foot, like run, like, where lanes were open, and Mahomes shockingly wasn't trying to run the football. Like in my, I think in Germany, he's taking off, and it's like you're taking off, and you're not even letting the play develop.
Yeah.
This time around, the defensive line is coming in, and you're standing in the pocket about to get sacked. Like, bro, the lane is wide open.
Yep.
You can take off for a first down and extend the play. So, like I said, this stuff going all the way around. And I don't know what the root of the issue or the problem is, because, week in and week out, we're having the same conversation. We're asking the same questions in the press, and we're getting pretty much the same responses. This is the 3rd game in a row now that they have not scored a point in the second half.
Yeah.
I mean, now, it almost bit him in the butt in Germany, and then you come back and it does bite you in the butt here. And again, I'm still baffled, because we talk about the penalties. We're in Germany. I asked Andy Reid. They had 13 penalties, and 9 were accepted. You got to cut those down. You had 15 days. What's the thing he comes in the press conference talking about? The penalties again. Yeah. So when I asked him about it, like, I asked you this in Germany, you said you'll look at the film.
Yeah. You're
still not cutting it down, because the penalties, again, if you don't cut them down, we saw how the penalties cost you a loss in a regular season game.
I agree.
What are you going to do when the playoffs start?
Yeah. I mean, so speaking of what are you going to do with these wide receivers? I mean, because you're stuck. You're stuck.
Well, yeah. I mean, a lot of people are still questioning as to why you didn't make any moves.
Mm-hmm. They said that pregame. I mean, is there something that Brett Veach and company knew that we don't know?
Maybe another team's asking price might have been too high for all. I don't know, because nobody. I mean, that story, the revelation may never come out. When it comes to the wide receivers, look, man, I talked to and I can't remember if we talked about on the pregame show now, but I talked to one of the wide receivers during the week, and I asked him, I said, man, you know what's being said. But the problem is that the wide receiver I talked to tonight only had one target.
Yeah.
And so, he had one target, no catches. Now, if you look at the stats, you can figure out who that was, without using a specific name. And so, again, we look at MVS, he had the 3 targets. And I mean, look, I don't know, because for me, I would have an issue with the money that I'm making and I'm not being targeted, what I'm saying, for me to feel like I'm justifying what you're paying me. Now, I think it's going to be obvious that he's not going to be here, next season. I mean, now I don't know how much you save versus, being cut, traded, or what have you, post June 1st or whatever. But they gotta get it together. I mean, obviously you got the short week, you got the holidays. I don't know how much the coaches are really gonna have to practice in this week as it relates to.
Oh, they're going every day.
No, well,
yeah, they're going every day.
They better.
You got an opponent that you're getting ready to face that's been playing good football.
The Raiders almost knocked off. It played Miami tough in Miami yesterday. So, if people talk about their schedule, the Chiefs schedule, no, the Chiefs schedule doesn't get easy. I mean, you can say what you want. The Raiders are playing good football. Green Bay, for all intents and purposes, they can, they have nothing to lose. Those are the teams that you worry about because,
of course,
they can just pull out.
Still got to play the Chargers again as well.
Still got to play. You got to play the Chargers
in L.A.
Yeah, you got to play them in L.A. Then you got Buffalo. Look, Buffalo is still out there. Where if they turn things around, they can play. And even if not, them in Cincinnati, they can play the role of spoilers, as well as the New England Patriots. So I mean, yeah, the Chiefs' schedule looks beneficial for them, but at the end of the day, man, if these receivers can't catch the football, if Patrick is throwing the ball into the dirt, if they stop running the football and just relying on the defense, it's not going to matter.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate you guys staying up with us. Steve Walls, Darren Smith. The Philadelphia Eagles come into Kansas City G.EH.A Field inside of Arrowhead Stadium to defeat the Chiefs 21-17. Remember, you can catch myself, Darren Smith, also Uncle Sean Tyler, DJ Q, who is an Eagles fan. So we're gonna have a lot to talk about tomorrow at
Q got to be so unbearable, man. I can't.
At Chicken and Pickle, North Kansas City. Again, for Steve Walls.
Salute for you, DJ Q.
Darren Smith.
You got bragging rights.
We are out of here.
Cat golf. Oh, he gonna go hard in the paint.